week for Food Court Files. We're going to be mixing it up again for the third week in a row. We're going off the reservation this week. We're going out of the recipe books, and we're going into the mind of Troy Spivey, which it's a scary place, but we pulled something out that was useful.
Yeah, sometimes, just great ideas come to you when you least expect them, and this is kind of when that was. And today we made the Spivadilla. Oh, baby.
I had my doubts. This ended up being one of the better things that I've ever eaten in my life.
Yeah, I don't know how it all came together. It's like one of those things like you don't even know what just happened, but when you ate it, it just hit you in the face. Like, that was really, really good.
All right, let's talk about what a Spivadilla is. Did I pronounce that right? It's not Spivadilla.
Spivadilla.
We had to max it. We had to change the pronunciation of both quesadilla
Pronunciation.
and Spivey.
You just kind of got to throw everything in there and just see what happens.
All right. Well, let's talk about what a Spivadilla is. So it started out, let's combine hamburgers and quesadillas, of course.
Obviously.
And then it kind of snowballed from there. So let's break down everything that we need for a Spivadilla. Troy, would you like to?
You're going to need...
This is a big one. We went way past 7 this time.
You're going to need 4 street taco flour tortillas. And you want to make sure you go with the flour because we felt like with the corn they would fall apart and you wouldn't get the proper quesadilla buns that you're going to need here for this creation.
It's also fairly juicy from everything that's in it, and we don't want it seeping through the corn tortillas, so flour is a must.
You're also going to need about a half a cup of shredded cheese. There's different things you're going to use the cheese for. So we had a 2-cup bag of cheese. It's a Mexican blend, and 2 cups was plenty enough. We didn't want to over cheese it like we usually do with a lot of our recipes.
Yeah, this was more subtle cheese, although we will mention cheese probably at least 12 times during the recipe.
The next
It wasn't as overpowering as like the bacon wrap grilled cheese.
Oh, that was too much cheese.
That was a lot of cheese.
And the next one is also a cheese. You're going to need a little Parmesan, but we'll let you know what you're going to need that Parmesan. We like the powdered kind.
It was necessary for what we did, yeah.
And then next, you're going to need to make guacamole. You don't need too much of it. We had a lot left over.
You could buy guacamole, but we're from California, so you need to make your own guacamole to fully enjoy
the guacamole.
Yeah.
We used 2 avocados. I think you could probably get away with 1. We had quite a bit left over.
Oh, so good, though.
We added a little salt to taste, pepper to taste, a little garlic powder, onion powder, lime juice, and a little mild pico de gallo.
Yeah. We mixed all those guys together. Had a really good guac. You just kind of have to mess with those until it's the way that you want it.
If you've made guac before, you know a lot of the time it's just adding this, adding that until it tastes good.
Right.
You're going to also need...
If you can't figure out what it's missing, it's usually salt.
Or you should just not be making it.
Yeah, just go to the store if you can't figure it out.
You're going to need 2 slices of tomato. You probably could get away with 1, but in the Spivadilla, if you want to do it correctly, you're going to need 2.
Yeah.
You're also going to need a little grilled onion. We used a red onion. We threw a little butter on it, so you're going to also need butter. And then we threw a little parm on top of that, too, which, when the Spivadilla...
Why not?
That's just how
it's just sitting there waiting to get put on things.
So we made this one. This Spivadilla was a double.
Yeah.
So we used 2 quarter-pound turkey patties. The reason we went with this because they were already pre-made patties, and so if you know anything about the Spivies, is less work the better. So we went with the turkey, and then we used a little bit of that Mexican cheese, and we threw it on top of there for the patty. But we'll get to that as we get going.
All right, let's talk about how we made this thing. So those are all the ingredients that you need. Those were not what we planned originally, and I think we just kind of went with it. But I'm glad that we did. It turned out really well. So first step, we're going to grill the patties.
You do it on the barbecue, but we did it on the stove. It was nice because we had a pretty big size pan to where we could do both patties at the same time.
Make sure you season the patties either salt and pepper. We did bacon cheddar. because we can, and I haven't. So we put that on there. Make sure that we did turkey burgers, so make sure that you cook those all the way. You can't have a medium rare turkey burger. That's bad news.
So while we did those turkey burger patties, we waited a little bit of time, and then we on another little grill over there, we started to do our bun, which is actually a quesadilla. So you're going to get, obviously with the quesadilla, you have 2 tortillas with cheese in the middle, but we need 2 of those. So we had 2 of those cooking at the same time as the grilled patties.
What we did for that, too, is we also sprinkled more Parmesan cheese into the pan. After we sprayed the pan, we put the Parmesan cheese in, and then when the first quesadilla went down, that Parmesan cheese will stick to your quesadilla.
It's kind of like Jim Boy's does with their shells. So obviously we like Jim Boy, so we decided we'd try it too. So you got all this going. Luckily there was 2 of us. I was on the grill doing the patties and the quesadillas. Zach was making the guacamole. So you're going to make sure your guacamole is going to be ready for when you get to the construction part.
Right, and you don't want to make it too soon. It'll start to turn brown, and it won't taste the same.
So another thing you're also going to need to do is you're going to need to slice your tomato, have that ready. Once the quesadillas came off, they came off first because we want to make sure those turkey burgers were cooked all the way through. That's when you're going to throw your grilled onion on. So the timing of this is all you kind of just feel it. It's the first time we did it because it's made up. So we had the patties, quesadillas came off, the grilled onions went on, and then on the patties we went ahead and sprinkled a little cheese with a little cover.
More Mexican cheese. Put a lid over the top so that the cheese would melt a little bit faster.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff going on. So, I mean, luckily there was 2 of us. You could do it by yourself, but
we'll have all these directions and ingredients on our website, SpiveySpecialPodcast.com, so you can check it out there as well.
So now it's time to, everything's done. We got our patties.
We got to assemble.
We got our quesadillas. We got all our produce ready to go. Now it's time to assemble. And this, you'll see as we have a video of it on there if you go on our YouTube page. But we didn't really know what to do construction-wise. So we got all our pieces out there, and we kind of just went for it.
So we went first quesadilla on the bottom. We did a layer of guacamole spread across it evenly. Then we did our first patty, which had the cheese on it. We added a little pico, grilled onions, then a slice of tomato. Then our second patty that had the cheese on it, a little more pico, another slice of tomato. And then we did our second quesadilla, which also had guacamole on the inside of it.
And that went on the top. It looked like it was a towering monstrosity.
It was about 40 feet tall, yeah.
At least. And so as we do, we tried to cut it in half, which was kind of hard because the tomato kind of acted like an ice skating rink.
Well, so did the guac.
Yeah, the guac was flying.
All of it didn't lend itself to not sliding around.
But the taste, as we'll get to when we get to the grading system a little bit more, but it was
really good.
Really, really good. So let's just kind of get into the grading system, Zach. Give us your rating.
Why don't you go first? Because it's your creation. I want you to have first explanation.
So this is going to be my highest rating yet.
So we're doing 0 out of 5. Spivey Specials is the ranking system.
If you haven't watched the show before, that's what we do every week. This is going to be my highest rating yet. This is going to be a 4.75.
Wow.
Spivey Specials.
That's almost 5.
It wasn't quite perfect. There's some things that we would have changed, which we'll kind of go over after we give the rating system or during the rating system. Delicious. The grilled onions really gave it this really good taste. It didn't overpower anything.
Yep.
We didn't try to do anything too fancy. I know it sounds weird that you have a quesadilla as your bun on your burger, but the flavor, we didn't make it too American style of our burger. We still stayed in the Mexican range with the Mexican cheese, just one slice of tomato, but with the pico de gallo and the guacamole, it really flavored up the quesadilla on the outside. And the turkey burger I thought was pretty good, but I think if we did it again, we wouldn't do a double-double, but we would just do one thinned out patty because we think it would keep the ingredients on better. This was one of those kind of things that you ate and then you had to have a spoon to eat the stuff that fell out.
Yeah, it did get pretty messy. Yeah, you want that patty to be roughly the size of that quesadilla if you could.
Yeah, but we had 2 of them that were a little bit too small.
It was fantastic. So the flavors on it were outrageous. The guac turned out pretty good.
Guac was great.
The quesadillas were good. It was a little messy. That would be I think the only thing about it. I mean, it was just hard to eat. Everything was splishing and splashing around, but it was so good. It was one of the best things that I've eaten before. Even Heather enjoyed it. So I think I'm going to give it 4.
4.
I'm going to go 4 out of 5. Best rating that I've given so far. I've been
3.5 both time, I think.
3.5 both times. So this is a little bit better for me. I feel like there's a lot of room for us to get to 5, and I don't want to just throw out 5s.
I'm not going to give out a 5 unless I just...
And be like Patrick Ewing at the dunk contest where everything's a 10.
Yeah.
And 10s don't mean anything. So
Exactly.
I want to go 4. I think we could have done better if we would have done ground beef instead of turkey patties. But I think there's not a lot other than that I would change. It just turned out really good. All the flavors complemented each other. Like you said, it tasted more Mexican. We didn't try to over cheese it like we normally would.
Well, I think, too, what was so nice about it is it wasn't dry because you had a good moisture from the guacamole and the mild salsa pico de gallo that we had, and just the grilled onions were seeping butter and Parmesan cheese. Just everything, like you said, just played off of each other so well. And as much as we normally don't go turkey burgers, I didn't think the turkey burger was that bad that it ruined the meal.
No.
And it was almost healthy.
Except for the quesadillas.
And the cheese.
And the butter.
And the
Yeah,
butter.
it wasn't healthy.
Close.
Troy's trying to talk himself into it.
Yeah.
Just because there's a slice of tomato, it doesn't make it healthy.
So if you guys want, we would love to see you guys try to make our recipes that we're going to start making up. We're going to just start making up our own as this show goes on. So the Spivadilla, if you want to go ahead and make it and then take pictures and just send them to us, we would love it.
Yeah, make whatever changes you want to it. Make some suggestions. But I want to see somebody eat some quesadilla burgers.
And if you have a crazy recipe that you've come up with and you want us to try on the show, just let us know. Hit us up on social media everywhere, Spivey Special, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a good one.
Oh, delicious.
That was one of the better things that I've eaten in recent memory.
And you had ribs for dinner.
Oh, I had the ribs right. It was so good. It was so good. 2 different types of ribs.
Yeah, well, you haven't seen yours since you're like 8, so that makes sense. You might as well eat other people's.
They're there. I don't need to see them.
All right.